Failure is such an interesting concept. I think a lot of people don't understand failure. You're probably watching this right now and you're like, Martel, why are you talking about failure? We only talk about successes. Why not stay positive? It's because when you focus on the negative, you start to remove the negative from your life, aka removal of the negative, right? Double negative. But the reality is, most people don't understand that failure is actually a sign either for you to keep going or for you to change direction. But the best way to overcome failure, from my personal experience, is consistency. That's it. You need to be consistent in everything that you do. Everything that you do needs to be so consistent that failure does not even matter because you just keep going and you just keep going. And the thing with failure is it's only temporary. The only time that it's permanent is when you remove the consistency factor in it. So, for example, or just a story, right? I remember when I first tried to start a company, I was a freshman or sophomore in college, freshman in college, I remember. And I wanted to start this fitness company. I didn't even understand why I wanted to do it. It was like this tech company. I wanted to get into tech so bad. This was before I got exposed to San Francisco and the whole tech scene and did go to market strategy consulting for ClassPass. That was a whole other realm that I actually learned technology and how to, build products. But before that, I was trying to do this thing. I tried to make a website. I paid this person like a couple $100 to make the website and it turned out to be horrible. But either way, I didn't keep going with it. It ended up failing, right? Failing because I genuinely just didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't understand what customer acquisition was. I was trying to read these books. I was getting frustrated and I ultimately quit. It's the same when it came to my tech company. My actual tech company that I had built out, raised money for, went through Techstars, all of that. I ended up quitting that company. I chalked it off as a failure. I talked to my managing director. He was like, "Look, like just sunset it." Sunsetting in startup world basically means that you're getting the business to where it dissolves, and it's like a process. It's kind of like this type of process. So I got to a point where I'm just sitting there, and I'm feeling like a failure, and it dawned on me immediately after maybe a year after that, I was like, well, man, what if I would have stayed course? What if I would have remained in the same spot with that tech company and kept going and going and going and being consistent even beyond these alleged failures, right? What if I just would have kept going? What if I would have just continued to grow? What if I would have blown past those failures? What if I would have bounced back? What would have happened with that tech company? What would have happened with my first tech company? What would have happened with basketball? Basketball is something I quit because, you get to a point where you have these crossroads where you either keep going with that thing or you change course. And sometimes it's really good to change course. Sometimes it's really good to keep going. The trick is to make the decision and be succinct with your decision and follow through with the decision. I actually don't believe either decision is bad. I do believe that how you go about the decision after making it is where things can go wrong. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. My whole point around this video is to help you understand that consistency is what helps you overcome these failures. Because when things don't work out the way that they should, you have to keep doing the things that you know you need to do to continue to make that thing grow. It's with business. With business, you're going to go through a lot of these mini failures. See, for me, my biggest lesson in life, my biggest downfall was taking the mini failures as major failures and not continuing on with them, right? It's the same with YouTube, for example, right now. Like I'm going through like I wouldn't say rebranding, but I'm talking about different concepts and my videos are not hitting the way that they were, right? I could take that as a failure, a major failure and say, oh, well, my channel's dead. And it's like, no, it's not, right? Like, I still have my audience. I still have people engaging with me. My email list is still growing. By the way, sign up to my free email list down below. You can get pretty much all my thoughts, my mind dumps and everything daily. Training Grounds is growing with the right people, right? Like, Training Grounds, by the way, is my paid community. All I do is I talk about YouTube personal branding and growing your brand, making money off your brand. It's a whole community around that, right? With like-minded men, entrepreneurs. That's another thing. Link is in the description if you want to touch that. But yeah, like all of these things are growing and my views may not be as high as they used to be, but I'm still growing, right? It's still a growing pain. It's a growing phase. So what I've learned is that like you have to be consistent. I'm still going to be consistently making more videos. I'm still going to be consistently making a video a day because that is what made me grow in the first place. So why would I stop doing that because I hit a lapse? I think the first day I stopped making a video was like maybe a week ago. I took a day where I didn't make a video and it absolutely did hurt the channel. But now that I'm back making videos, my views are starting to go back up and I'm getting more engagement and I'm getting more people that are signing up to different things that I have. So it's just teaching me that these mini failures just require you to be a lot more consistent with your actions and double down on the actions that you know are going to get you to the next step. The major failures now, that's a whole different story. That's when everything falls flat, right? And you just know there's no way that you can push this forward. And it rarely ever happens, by the way. But when it does happen, that's when you change course. Many failures, you can stay with the same process consistently and do those consistent actions. Another reason why I always stopped doing things with these mini failures is because I would lose interest. Right? A lot of the times when you're doing something and you're not seeing success in it, or you're seeing these mini failures, you start to lose interest because your dopamine receptors are fried, right? Like, let's be honest, our dopamine receptors are fried. So it's hard for us to keep on with things, but the goal is just to be as consistent as you possibly can, because that's really what's going to push everything forward. That's really what's going to break through the firmament to get you beyond the failure that you're in. So it's a whole process. It's a whole learning journey that most people just don't have the patience to go through, or they just don't have the energy to go through. But the minute you can go through that is the minute that things start to work out for you. It's why some of the best entrepreneurs, when you ever watch their interviews or like whatever, they'll be like, well, have you ever been broke before? And they're like, of course, because they have these mini failures. See, in entrepreneurship, a mini failure is going to zero or even going in the negatives, right? But a lot of people, they hit that and then they just tap out and go straight back into what they were doing before that they didn't like. The real entrepreneurs that make it, they bounce back because they do consistent actions. It's like nothing changes, right? Nothing changes. So consistency is the key to overcoming failure. And the reality is, if your goal, and I've said this before, if your goal is so big, those mini failures will mean nothing. You will consistently grow. You will consistently succeed beyond the failures if you look beyond to where your end goal is. Most people don't do that. Most people, they have a microscope on their life. They have a microscope on every little thing, and they make that their entire mission. They make every little thing their entire mission. Every little tiny action is your entire mission, when really your entire mission should be the main focus. And these little actions, whether they succeed or they don't succeed, are just pieces to the puzzle to get you to where you want to go. So you have to stay consistent. That way you can continue to ride momentum. Even when things go wrong, the more consistent you have, the more that momentum will compound. Even when you're in the troughs of failure, mini failure, right? So you have to make sure that you are engaged and you are consistently making progress. You are being consistent in all of the actions, calling people that you need to call, pitching people that you need to pitch, making the videos that you need to make. You want to build a personal brand on YouTube, make one video a day and don't stop for a year. Period, point blank. I do believe that. I will stand by that, and I will be a beacon for that, right? So make sure that you tap in with consistency. And again, I'm going to show myself. Tap in, link in the description if you want one-on-one coaching with me when it comes to building your YouTube personal brand. That's something that I'm doing now. I'm very passionate about it. I understand it. I have a whole different approach of how I do it that actually works, that breaks through, that's almost like a pattern disruption within YouTube. So I can't wait to just help people build their channels and things of that nature. So link is in the description if you want a free brand strategy call with me. Book it ASAP. I know I'm going to be booked out very soon as I'm pushing this out, as more people are being aware of what I'm offering. This is something that a lot of people want. All of you guys want to make YouTubes. You want to be free. You want to literally make money being you. Well, I teach you how to do that, right? Goal is for you to hit $10,000 in less than 6 months and at least 1,000 subscribers during that time, if not more. But I'm going to have an army of accounts that are being made that are pushing themselves and that are actually growing and seeing the full fruit of YouTube, right? That's my goal, is to inspire people to build YouTube channels and grow them successfully, much like I'm doing for myself. So I appreciate you. Tap in with a friend if they need to hear this with consistency and they're not consistent. They're always saying they're going to do something and they always fall off within like a couple of days of doing it. Send this to them. Also, like, comment, subscribe, of course. Sign up to the newsletter, of course. Click on whatever link makes the most sense for your situation. I appreciate you, and I will catch you on the next video. Conquer yourself, conquer the world, conquer your life. You are a conqueror. All right? I'll catch you on the next video.